Okay, what holidays do you celebrate as an organization?
So as an organization, we traditionally host a barbecue night for the New Year's Day. The last time we did it, it was for a Chinese New Year, but for the traditional New Year, because it's right after the winter break, we can't really do anything immediately after the winter break, but we usually do it around the end of the year for the winter quarter. And other than that, because we're a very community-based club, we aren't really host anything during the COVID pandemic, but before the whole hectic thing that's going on right
Mhm.
now,
Yeah,
we
I
host
see.
in-person events.
Does your community have a cultural traditions surrounding the holidays, the New Year?
So Japanese New Year is they share the red envelope for the Chinese traditions. It's called otoshirama, and the parents and also the other relatives, they give you money. And other than that, we food is a very important part in the Japanese New Year. So we get together as a family and we eat. There's this thing called kagami mochi.
Yeah,
Other than that, we eat zoni, and zoni is like a stew with lots of vegetables and also chicken, I think.
and mochi,
Um,
mochi as
and
well.
mochi, yeah, mochi
Yeah,
is also inside.
yeah.
And other than that, we have this thing called osechi. Each of the food that's inside of osechi represents longevity, friendship, also like lots of money, economic prosperity, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's supposed to make the New Year's like a more celebratory thing. It's going to make like, hey, it's not superstition, but it makes like, hey, it's celebrating a new year through food. What are your favorite part about celebrating this holiday or tradition?
okay. As a Japanese people tend to think, being together is like important value. New Year's Eve tend to be like held, like celebrated with like a bunch of people. For example, you unlike American people who like hang out with your friends or with your friends, other people like on like New Year's Day. Japanese people tend to gather up with a family and celebrate the holiday. So that's like one of those that's like being with family or being with like many people as a community is something like Japanese people tend to embrace on this like important like day of the beginning of the new year. Yeah,
Yeah, so even outside of family, we kind of like get together with the neighbors and play games, you know?
yeah.
We have this badminton like game called Hanitsuki. So like bunch of kids from the neighborhood, we kind of
Yeah.
like get together at someone's house and play these like traditional games. Like we have this, not like the Beyblade, but it's called, what was that? Beigoma? Yeah.
Oh, it's big one. Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah, we have those kind of games
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
How does your celebration look different this year compared to years prior?
So since pandemic happened, I actually like practically demonstrate social distance. So what I did was I hang out with my friends and made some soba, what's it called, like New Year's Eve day soba, which like Japanese people eat before the New Year's Day begins to wish like for your prosperity or like your resolutions. And also I actually like I had to think of some like, New Year's resolutions as well. Yeah, and except for being with my families, yeah, pretty much I what I did was pretty much same. Yeah, but with my friends for this year's New Year's.
Okay. So do you have any upcoming events you would like to plug ways to get involved for people watching? As of now, it's very hard to do like these community mochi eating, mochi making events that we traditionally do. So probably we're gonna think of like New Year's resolutions. That's what we do. It's called whole food.
Whole food, yeah,
So
yeah.
I think we
Yes,
can do
resolution.
like a group Zoom meeting of talking about whole food. Other than that, like talking about like what are you facing this year, what you want to accomplish. So making like goals for the new year, like a community building event. I think that'll be interesting. We can also incorporate some game nights because in Japanese tradition, it's not like tradition, but recently Japanese TV, we hold like special sessions, like special game nights, game shows.
Mhm.
Like Yuta said, there's like comedy TV shows that's going on. So maybe we can do some event, Got Talent event. It's not traditional, but it's some community building because a sense of community, like friends and family, is very important in Japanese New Year. I think that's what we can do.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay.
All right, I think that's pretty much it.